On to something fun for tailgating, especially for daytime games when it's extremely hot outside. We're going to do an Italian ice, and today we're going to do lemon ice, but you could sub out just about any kind of citrus or fruit juice you would like for this same recipe. I'm going to show you guys a simple method today since I feel like most people have a food processor. We're going to do this with ice cube trays and a food processor instead of having a churn style ice cream maker. Now if you have one of those and you want to use it, that's fine as well. It comes out a little bit finer, but I prefer the sort of rustic, the occasional chunks that would be in this version. If you're using the food processor method like I'm going to show today, you need to make sure that before you get started, take the base of your food processor and the blade and stick it in the freezer for about a half an hour. You'll also want to use non-reactive tools because we'll be using citrus with the acid. You'll need 2 cups of sugar. You'll need 2 cups of freshly squeezed citrus juice, in this case lemon juice. That comes from about 12 lemons, about this size. You need 1/4 teaspoon of table salt, and you'll need 4 cups of water. I prefer spring water. If you feel like using tap water, go for it, but as you know, tap water has sort of a taste to it, and so it doesn't really balance out with the acidity of the lemons or the citrus that well, so that's your call, but I would prefer spring water if I were you. The optional ingredient is 4 tablespoons of vodka. You don't have to have it, but it does help to form less ice crystals so that your dessert will come out a little smoother. So let's begin. The first thing you'll want to do is pour just your lemon juice and your salt and your sugar into the container. The reason for that is you want to keep up the acidity so that you can whisk this around. You don't want to cut it with water yet. You whisk it around, and that way you can dissolve the sugar. So basically just whisk it until the sugar dissolves. Probably about a minute. There you go. All of my sugar is dissolved. I'd say that was about a minute. After that, you can whisk in your 4 cups of water. And as I said, it's optional, but I prefer 4 tablespoons of vodka. It doesn't really have a flavor, and as I said, it helps to prevent the larger ice crystals from forming when you're freezing this dessert. You whisk that around again for about 10 to 15 seconds. And you're ready at that point to pour it into ice cube trays, which we'll do in just a second. If you choose to do the ice cube method, like I'm doing today, you'll need to make sure that you either have about 4 of these standard ice cube, the standard square ice cube trays like this, or I found one that has these that makes these little bitty ice cubes. Problem is you'll need about twice as many, or actually need about 10 of these for this particular recipe to make sure you have enough. So all you'll have to do, I've already filled those. You just tilt it up a little bit and fill from the top like that. And basically fill until all your trays are full. There you have it. Now one other thing we need to talk about is your freezer. Because you store other things in your freezer besides just this, and you don't want your lemon ice to taste like fish or seafood or beef, you'll either want to wrap these in saran wrap or make sure that you have a good fresh box of baking soda in your freezer to pick up those tastes. You don't really want to taste it in your lemon ice. Once your lemon mixture's been in the freezer for about 3 to 5 hours, you're ready to take it out and pop all the cubes into your food processor. Now I've already done all the little small tubes. I don't recommend those. If I were on Chopped right now, I would be chopped for however extra long time it took. You want to stick with just your basic square ones that'll make it easier. If you're having any issues getting them out, you can use a paring knife, which I have to do with the little bitty ones, except you have about 60 of those little bitty ones versus, I don't know, maybe 10 or 12 of these. So, like I said, I'd be chopped right now, so I wouldn't recommend that. Once you get it all in your food processor, just going to want to pulse it about 18 to 20 times. Once you finish filling all your ice cube trays, you just pop them all in the freezer for about 3 to 5 hours, depending on your freezer, and then they're ready to process, which I'll show you in just a second. I'm going to start now. After about 20 good pulses, you want to check it out. The consistency looks great on this one. If every motor's different, so if you need more pulsing on yours or whatnot, you don't have to stop at 18 or 20. There's no exact science to it. And after this, you're ready to go, and you want to serve this pretty quickly. You can serve either about a 2 to 3 ounce serving in a little glass dish, or you could serve it in a half of a lemon scooped out if you wanted to get nice and fancy with it. The frozen ice cube trays, you can keep them in your freezer for about 5 days or so. So if you want to do some, you know the tailgate party's coming up this weekend, and you want to get ready Monday, Tuesday evening, you get it all prepped out, get it in your freezer, and come Friday, Saturday, whenever the party's going to be, you throw it in the processor and you're ready to go. I hope this shows that even with cold items at Shopper's Choice and BarbecueGuys.com, we smoke the competition.